Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis.
I'm Mel B.
And we're here to talk about Nick from the Traitors Canada Season 2, the final faithful that was murdered. Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm so excited to see all the episodes. It's nice to see that they're all out and see the outcome. I'm so pleased with it.
So pleased, are you pleased that you did not have the sibling twist revealed at all?
That's actually probably my biggest disappointment in the game. And had I known that I was just going to get murdered that night, I would have told everyone or let Kira tell everyone at that final table where she got voted out. Just because I feel like it would have been such a cool reveal to on the spot instead of after the game, you know?
Yeah.
How did it feel like keeping that in the whole time? Because you can tell in your confessionals that you're really great friends and you love your sister so much, and not being able to share that with anybody for however long is that must have been a feat.
It's complicated. As a faithful, you're supposed to not really have secrets, right? And that is the one secret I was trying to keep. And it was complicated because I could overhear her talk about our parents and whatnot. And she would mention some personal stuff about the family. I'm like, okay, I can't say that anymore because or else it'll be too much of a coincidence.
We were kind of hoping for that. I was hoping that maybe you guys would accidentally share a Christmas story or something like that and get caught, because it's fun for TV when you do get caught. But do you feel like having that twist hindered your game in any way or helped your game? What do you think? How do you think things would have been different if that never happened?
If I didn't have my sister there, or if there was a reveal, or what?
If there wasn't the twist.
If you were there by yourself.
Yeah, if I was just there by myself, I definitely don't think I would have made it nearly as far. I technically got to the last episode. I don't think so. I think I think one of the reasons Gail was murdered is she was a true faithful, and along with a few of the others. And I feel especially the day where I was amongst the sins. So the saints obviously had a shield, and the sins would have just been an easy kill because you knew they didn't have a shield. So and I was one of them. So it would have been an easy kill to get me out that night.
Right.
So at the beginning of this show, we heard a lot of both of you being I'd be able to tell if, she was a faithful or a traitor. And we kind of suspected at times that maybe you had an idea. But did you just kind of block that off and just believe that she was a faithful no matter what? Or what was your gameplay with kind of knowing your sister so well?
So the way I play my game is that it didn't matter. So whether she's a faithful or a traitor, I want to just help her game. I was there for her. So no matter what, if she's a faithful and wants to vote for someone, I'm on her side. If she's a traitor and wants to vote someone out, I'm still on her side. So it's it didn't matter too much to me, but towards the end, I was like, okay, everyone thinks I'm a faithful. No one's writing my name, but I'm still here. So I'm like, this is fishy.
I wonder if someone's protecting me here. When we talked to Kira, she said that she's a really big fan of these competitive reality shows. Are you a fan as well? How did you get involved in this world of traitors?
So I'll be honest, I had never really watched Traitors before I was invited to go on. And as soon as I did, I watched a few episodes to educate myself, and then I ended up going through all 8 seasons, both US, both UK, New Zealand, the first season of Canada, as many as I could consume.
That's
okay.
good.
So you're a fan now. Yay!
Are you going to keep watching the show now for future seasons coming up? Are you hooked?
Oh, especially the Canadian version and the US version, because the US one can be spicy. But I feel like this season might have been have some good drama too. So I definitely think I'm gonna keep up to date on those two.
So in preparing for it, you watched all the seasons. Did you have a strategy going into the game of a certain way that you were going to play? And did you have to change that when you got there?
I didn't have like any specific strategies. I was just really hoping that I wasn't a traitor. And at the end of the day, like, I don't think creating a specific strategy is really the way to go, because I think what's more important is to adapt, right? Because like if I came in like expecting to be a faithful and then Karine would have touched my shoulder, I would have like, that would have flipped my entire game. So I definitely didn't come in with a specific strategy. I just wanted to try to analyze people's like body language and stuff and see if I can like suss out any traitors.
So if you were to go back and play again, would you want to see what it's like to be a traitor now that you had a faithful experience?
I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me. Like, I'd be curious, but also I think having done it once would have helped me, because I now know how I act as a faithful. Like, I spent that entire time acting as a faithful, so I know my mannerisms. The new contestants would maybe not know my mannerisms, but I would be like, I'd have a better chance at lasting like maybe 1 or 2 extra episodes, because I would know what behavior to emulate.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's quite a few reality stars that were part of the cast. When you got to the manor, did you recognize anyone? I know you also have a really big social media presence. Like, were you worried about being recognized? Like, how were you thinking when you entered the manor?
I was only a little bit like worried about being recognized, because Kira has been in my videos like a handful of times, but I also know that my demographic is a little different. Like, my audience is usually a little bit younger, so I didn't really expect them to know who I am, but a lot of them, like, they do have kids. So I have a lot of like parents message me, like old friends from high school, but now they're parents, and they're like, look who I walked in on my kid watching me. So watching me. And I was worried that like one of them, maybe like their kids watch me and that's how they know. And if they know of my sister, then that secret would have been like already revealed day one. But since I don't watch as many reality shows, because I'm too busy like working and creating content, I didn't recognize anyone.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Smooth sailing in that regard.
Yeah, it was.
You're super athletic, obviously. How'd you find these challenges? People have been like, oh my goodness, they were so hard. Like, how'd you find them? Were they fun, hard? What were your thoughts?
They were super fun. I was like so excited when we walked out of the car and saw that big bridge and stuff. I love heights. I love being blindfolded, like for acrobatic purposes. Like, one of the things I do in my videos is to make a trick harder, I'll literally do it with a blindfold. And so I was like used to it. The one with the mud was also a lot of fun, with the mines and the explosions. The only one that was really hard was the horse one, pulling the Trojan horse. That was hard.
Said that one. That seems to be the number one like mission that everybody's like, please, do not recommend, never again.
Yeah. I think
those questions seemed like we were trying to guess along as well, and I was like, I'm getting them all wrong, and I have all the information. So how was that for you?
Traitors aren't known to sabotage, but they definitely sabotaged that one.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong. I remember Michael John, due to his injury, was one of the first 3 questions out of 10 questions, and I believe Netta definitely at some point, I think earlier on, maybe stepped out. So that left like my sister to be the only one who knew the answers for a fact. And like, she can't just incriminate herself like that much. So
yeah.
And even then, like, who knows if we would have still made it, because like that thing was heavy.
That was a hard one. Yeah, for sure.
So you said in the show that you were really good friends with Michael John. How did it feel to actually be wrong about him and that he was actually a traitor in the end?
When was I wrong about him?
Oh, I thought you were saying that you didn't want to vote for him. You didn't want to necessarily.
Yeah. The reason I didn't want to vote for him is because I know, like, especially in Canada, like things are rough right now financially. Like, prices of groceries going up, so every single person in that room could use that money and like would really need it. So I was trying to contemplate that, and this man like even my sister, right? She was a traitor, but she's not evil in any way, and she could have used that money. So even as a traitor, I would have hoped that she would have won. So when I wrote his name down, I definitely was trying to like contemplate the impact of that on his life, you know. And but after, like, I never really truly thought he was a faithful, but I never thought he was a traitor until there's one moment that really shifted around the round table where we were talking, maybe writing Melinda's name. And at some point he's like, oh, like, Melinda, like, how could you do this? Like, you betrayed me or something. It was just, I could tell from having spent a little more time with him off camera or during reality and everything, I could tell that that wasn't his normal behavior. It was like him putting on like a facade. And I was like, okay, that's fake.
That's so sweet though. So you guys, it really did seem like you had a genuine friendship at the manor. Has that continued on since? Are you guys still in touch? Do you still talk? Are you mad at each other? Like, where do we stand today?
As far as me and my relationship with everyone, I believe I'm on good terms with all of them. Like, we talk like once in a while, like once when it was airing, we would talk like every day and stuff. And I don't think there's really any animosity between any of the contestants, but between me, I like have talked to Michael John a handful of times. Pac-Man's probably the one I've talked to the most since, and obviously my sister.
Right.
Now that you've dipped your toe into the reality TV world, have you been bitten by the bug? Do you want to do another show? Do you want to play another game? Like, how are you feeling about that?
I do and I don't. Like, I do because it's fun, and it really depends on what type of game. You know, there's like potential. I believe Kira and I want to apply to Amazing Race together and see if we have a shot.
Like, I feel like you guys have already been on the Amazing Race together before, because like, you guys are such a perfect casting for that show.
It'd be fun. The only thing that, like, the only reason I would like maybe not like it as much is because I'm like obsessed with work. I work 70 hours a week, and then to take that amount of time off of work is it's hard for me.
For sure. I wonder if you went on another show, if you could like get special permission to give some people cameras and still create the content while you're on the show or something like that.
I think I wonder, I don't know if you should be allowed your phone for Amazing Race, right? Because for this game, I understand why you wouldn't be allowed, because you could easily cheat and communicate with the other players.
Yeah.
But Amazing Race,
I think they take it from my knowledge, I think they take your phone for like the majority of reality shows.
Oh, that's okay.
Like, I don't know if there's any that you keep it.
It makes sense, because it might also just be for spoilers and whatnot, but
yeah,
who knows?
I think too, they want to isolate your reality. They want your reality to be the reality, right? Like the reality of the show, they want that to be everything. So if you have a way to stay grounded, you're not going to be as emotional on camera. You're not going to, it's not going to be a life or death situation when you're put in these positions, right? So I think
that's honestly, that's 100% agree. I wrote in my little Traitors journal, I wrote that down, and I was like, when I was first seeing the show before being in it, I was like, why do they care about these people so much? Like, they've only known each other maybe a handful of days or whatever. Like, how do you pretend like you guys are so close, but then being in it, not talking to anyone else, you really like, it does isolate you, and you're just like in that reality, and you're, instead of being grounded with like, I don't know, your family, friends from home, you're just like, you're in the game and that's it.
Yeah,
how did you feel when you saw how much preparation that Netta went into playing as a traitor? Because I was blown away, shocked, amazed. How did you feel seeing what she put into it?
I was it's conflicting, of course, because like my number one was like my sister, and I wanted her to win. And of course, like from the inside, it's you look at Netta's game, and it's just like very much like passive and just like slightly reactive. Like from not seeing the show, not seeing the conclave and everything, you're just like talking to her. It's like, oh, she's just quiet the whole time. I am a little disappointed that Lori was the only one to catch on that, like, she didn't speak up the entire time. She didn't make a move the entire game. And then the last day gets Kira out on the like one sure shot, and Lori was the only one that caught on. I was like, it does seem obvious when you watch it in the TV show, but in the moment, like, your head's all over the place. So I understand that no one else saw it, but it's
you knew, like, before your murder, you pretty well had it at that point, didn't you?
It was Neda and Lauren. Like, I thought maybe because we had 2 extra contestants this season, I thought maybe there was 1 extra traitor, and it was also just safer for me to assume that there's 4 rather than just assume that there's 3. And so it was Neda and Lauren were my suspicions.
Yeah.
So had you not been murdered, would you have, like, what would your strategy have been to maybe, gather the troops? Like, did you even think about what you would do?
So I had a conversation just before getting murdered that night with Kevin. And of course, it's known that his suspicions was Lauren.
Yeah.
So knowing that, I probably would have went on, like, tried to like team up with him somehow. And if Lori had voiced her suspicions to me, then of course I would have teamed up with her, like, about Neda and stuff. I don't think I would have been able to team up with like certain other people. Of course, I wouldn't have tried to team up with Lauren and Neda, and I don't think Trenna would have listened to me at all. And stuff like she's very strong-willed.
Yeah, she didn't want to talk to Kevin in that last episode. He says, "Can I talk to you?" And she said, "No."
That was
just
like,
no.
It's hard to like figure out what happened contextually, but to watch, I was like, wow, that was harsh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this entire season I've ever heard of like someone saying no. Like, hey, can we talk? Like, maybe like, oh, we'll talk later. I'm like having a conversation right now, but instead of just like, no, I don't think so. It's like, whew. That was spicy.
It was spicy. I mean, lots of spicy content this season. It was definitely a really amazing season to watch. I put it in my number 2. I was saying that UK was the first season that I watched, so it's deep and close to my heart. But this has been a great season that you're a part of. It's been awesome. What was your favorite part of the whole show? Obviously, being there with your sister has probably been amazing, and having to have that joint experience. But what was your favorite memory or experience?
I'd say obviously just the game overall as a package is like just it's hard to like eliminate one element as a favorite, but the missions were always like my favorite and stuff, or most of them. There's a few like it really broke my heart when I like slipped up on that one guessing the object mission.
Yeah.
And like I felt like I let my team down because I'm there for the mission. I'm there to help build the pot. And I was, I guess, too precise with the numbers of the fake stuff. But I think Karine gave me like instructions to make it look real. So I tried to make it look real.
Yeah. I think it's just, you're so trusting. They were, you know what I mean? Like, it came across as a faithful, and even when you're describing this, they're like, Nick's not going to lie. Like, he's not going to lie to us, right? So, but you were really entertaining to watch on the show for sure.
Well,
I appreciate that.
Go ahead, sorry. And also, you got in a little bit of a fight with Cedric over the fact that he shared the information and you didn't want to share. You wanted to bring it to the round table. Like, how are you feeling when that happened? And, were you upset that you weren't able to speak up like the way that you wanted to?
It was a little upsetting. I fully understand why he did it. I'm not really upset about him doing it. I think it's just more the way he handled it. So we had an agreement clearly in the car where like, hey, I never speak up at the table. I talk so little, and I'd love to just give everyone the accurate information together. So there's not like a he said, she said, or whatever. So I asked him for that. He agreed. And then as like, he was in the manor before me and like had already told people, but he didn't come to tell me at any point. This is what I would have loved if he came up and be like, hey, I'm sorry I had to go out on our agreement because they just peer pressured me into saying it. I'm like, I get it. I would have done the same thing. I appreciate you telling me. But instead, like he never told me. And that is why whenever Karine later on was like, oh, write the person's name that you trust the least. I'm like, well, you're the only person here that like I know has broken my trust directly, so that's why I wrote his name down.
And then were you annoyed that it awarded him almost 10 grand before that?
I think that was like a great decision on his part. I honestly like I know it made it look like I was frustrated, but I think it was the best decision because he's a faithful. So even if he won as a faithful towards the end, he would have needed to split that amount in two, like between two faithfuls. So he, instead of doubling the pot, he took like that half. So no matter what, he got the same amount, even if he would have won. So I thought that was like the best decision, like mathematically.
He definitely had to.
Had the situations or the roles been reversed, what do you think you would have done in his situation?
Yes.
I 100% would have doubled the pot just because I'm not there for the money.
The group. You're for the group.
I know a lot of contestants, like getting to know them, like they deserve the money a lot more and like need it. So I like definitely would have prioritized that.
That's awesome.
Oh my. Well, I'm not surprised. I love that answer. It's very Nick of you. It's very sweet. So
we like to end with some rapid fire questions. So if you just want to throw out one of your fellow contestants with, who is the most manipulative player, would you say, in the game?
I'd say NetUp.
Who's loudest?
Trena and Cedric.
And then funniest? Usually the same.
Cedric has good moments.
Which player would you like to invite to dinner?
Pac-Man.
Yay! Most opinionated.
I'm gonna say Trena just because of the suspicions of like the traitors are this, and this.
And which player would make the best spy?
Spy. That's a good one. I technically was almost a spy, you know, like not knowingly. So I'm just gonna say myself.
Many have said you. Who, like, not out of all the people that were faithful, who would be the worst traitor ever? Do you think?
Oh, maybe me.
And in hindsight, who was the most trustworthy player?
Trustworthy. Like, of course, I trusted my sister above all else. Maybe Gail was definitely trustworthy in my opinion. She was great.
Well, that's all the questions that I have for you today. Obviously, it's been a blast talking to you. Nick, Mel B, do you have anything else to say?
I just want to thank you for going on the show. I thought this was a wicked season. I loved the sibling twist. I really wish you guys had to get caught or or explain it or whatever. But at the same time, it was really interesting to see you guys maneuver around the manor and try to figure out your games, knowing that there was somebody else that you were related to in the house. So yeah, congratulations on the show. It was awesome. And I really appreciate you talking to us.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely would have been really good TV if somehow like we said something that incriminated each other. Just like, oh, wait, like Kira's dad was this, Nick's dad was also this, like, and like that developed. That would have been entertaining, but hey, it's in the past.
And do you have any final thoughts before we let you go?
No, I just really appreciate like you guys having me, and I appreciate Traitors for having me in this season. I hope everyone found it entertaining and it was as fun as it was for me watching it back.
Yes,
I do have one final question. I've thought it over. But if you were, I don't think we've answered this. We talked about other reality shows. If you were to get a call, Traitors is doing returnees. Are you there?
Returnees? I think so, yeah. That would be cool.
It's such a fun game. You always want a second shot at it.
Yeah, well, I think they did that in the US version, right? With so I'm hoping Kira gets that opportunity where it's like, okay, let's bring you back, but as a faithful this time.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I think it was Kate, was it?
Yeah,
Kate
I believe so. Came back.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, thanks again, Nick, and we'll let you go. We'll see you soon, though.
Bye.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.